guess what I'm trying to say is like a lot of Web3 communities are on the platforms that we were just talking about, like YouTube, X, Twitch, and especially Kick. Right, that's where a lot of folks who know about crypto already reside. Right, the ultimately we want to work to an audience that is Web2, right? Where you just tip, you can just tip a post made from someone in Web2. They don't even need to have crypto, and you could just tip them anyway, right? And we'd love to work in such a way where they can get crypto and be rewarded immediately. But we're not there yet, right? For now, the base is crypto folks. They need to know that this exists, right? We want to like work with this is where working with crypto communities is really important because their communities are everywhere. And let's say we were talking let's say even the Solana community, right? A lot of them are on Twitter, Discord, and Pump.fun, right? And Twitch, right? So what that means is and they need a way to tip each other on different mechanisms, and we've noticed that across different communities as well. So yeah, when it comes to audiences, we want to like work with like Web3 communities. The key word is communities, right? There's no there's no reason to have tipping if you don't want to pump somebody up, or your friend up, or your colleague up, or a community member up, right? So that's the key thing, and we want to work with communities where actual engagement is an important thing, where a community member wants a post written, or a community a creator needs to do something, some kind of activation with their community. Um, so right now we're actually working on a, uh, a art contest this week where a lot of artists are posting artwork that they've made, and we're tipping them. And the that thread right now has been really successful. In 24 hours, we've had 6,000 views, and there is too much art for me to start tipping. So I'm actually gonna spend this Tuesday just tipping all the art. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of ways where you can activate tipping. Like it's a new engagement mechanism, right? It's a new like button, so to speak, but albeit a more valuable one.
Awesome. That's really awesome. I'm fascinated by the idea. More and more, I think each time you talk about it, it's really, really intriguing. But I have this question about security now, because I
Okay.
mean that's also the next, phase when it comes to platforms like this. So let's say unclaimed tips, right? How are these unclaimed tips stored and secure on Solana? Majorly, what happens for during after a long period of time of inactiveness? What happens in that situation?
Oh, what do you mean by period of time inactive tippers? What does that mean?
Like let's say you've tipped a creator, right? Basically, the creator has been tipped, but the creator eventually maybe left the tipping there on the platform for a long duration of time, and maybe the person is inactive for whatever reason. Does that tipping, that money still stays, or something happens? Like the mechanism around that. That's what I want to know.
Okay, so the only reason the money disappears forever, right? If the recipient is not claiming their tip,
Mhm.
and on the other side, the tipper forgot his tipping wallet private keys, then it's lost forever, right? So another thing about Sacred is um, there is a Sacred ID that pairs a lot of your social handles, right? So I'm gonna rephrase it. If you lose your Sacred ID and you lose your and the tipper, the tip recipient never redeems a tip, the tip is lost forever, right? But let's say only the tip recipient doesn't want to claim it. The person who tip can always, with sacred, revoke and take the tip back.
Can you
So
explain that part again? Like,
you just
what? Mhm.
actually, like, Joe is actually very excited to explain this. Do you want to?
You want to go? Yeah, sure.
Here's how it works, man. For example, if I tip you and
Mm-hmm.
you didn't get tip like you said for a very long time, and the tip
Okay.
stays on your wallet as much as it can. So nothing is going to happen to that tip except if I that tipped you revoke the tip. So after
Oh,
24 hours, me, the tipper, I can revoke it if you don't want to claim it. But if I
okay.
don't revoke that tip, the tip is there till you claim the tip. Then the
Okay.
other way the tip can be lost is if you lose, I the tipper lose my like my wallet, my seed phrase, and my ID, and you too you lose your wallet and seed phrase and ID. That is a way you can get to lose that tip. Aside that, your tip is always secured till whenever you want to claim it. That's
Amazing. Amazing.
So
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say, like, it unlocks new features too. Like, you know where a lot of projects do airdrops,
Yeah.
and you know one of the main things about complaints about airdrops is airdropping dead wallets.
Mm.
So you lose your supply, right, of tokens as a project. But what
Yeah,
if
you
you
do.
do airdrops, but then cancel the tips or cancel the airdrops if you notice that this wallet was inactive?
That's fascinating. That's yeah, it is fascinating. Wow. I never actually thought about that. That's really good. The fact that you could actually, take back your tip if it's inactive. Are there other like rules of law that governs this in terms of saying, okay, let's just say maybe you tipped the first time and the person didn't claim, but maybe you had a change of mind and you just want to pull back your tip. That also work in that situation.
Yeah. So about the rules of tipping,
Mm-hmm.
we're still in early days, right? So
Awesome.
as we work with more creators and audience members, and we find out what good behavior within the tipping conversation, when we're trying to find out how that really works, we're going to change the rules and adjust them.
Okay.
But we always want to be transparent about that. For now, the rules are: if I were to tip you, Izzy, um, you can claim it anytime, right? But after 24 hours, I can take the tip back, right? If I made a
I
mistake.
don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason we had this 24-hour lock, why is there 24-hour locks? Because on live streams, when you tip a live streamer, you're why are you tipping them? Because you're saying, hey, answer this question for me, live streamer, or hey, can you do this thing, do this trick on the game for me, live streamer,
Mm-hmm.
or answer my question, live streamer, or tell me a story, live streamer, right? And the live streamer does the work, right? But then the tipper takes back their tip. The streamer feels that they've been unfairly treated,
Okay.
right, for the activity that they did on the stream. So the 24-hour lock is essentially a protection on the live streamer, and it forces the tipper to be very intentful when they're making a tip to the live streamer.
That makes
that's
sense.
I want to add a little to that. So, aside from live streamers, even as a creator on X, it makes a lot of sense when Sacred is now used by everyone. To avoid people to start spamming tips and start using it to like get attention unnecessarily. If you tip someone and you truly want to tip that person, you have to give it that 24 hours for that person to claim it. If the person does not claim the tip, then you can revoke it. But if there was no time frame there, I can tip you right now. Say, hey, easy, I just tipped you. And you get excited that I tipped you on this content. And before you go claim it, if there was no time frame, I could just go revoke it. and you would feel bad as a creator that, hey, I saw a notification. I'm using Sacred, I saw a notification I was tipped, but before I could reach there, the tip is gone. You won't feel good about it. So that is why for now we added that 24 hours to moderate everything and to make sure you as a creator, you as a community lead, you intentionally reward people, support people with your tip, not just spam.
Awesome. That's I think that does a lot of justice to the question. Asked that did do a lot of justice to my question. So the next question would be now security and safety, majorly. How are you ensuring safety and user privacy? Because I believe now in the decentralized world that is a priority. Users, privacy is very, very essential compared to the traditional technology, which is like the Web 2. Social handles are used, and when you use social handles as wallet identifiers, how do you ensure security at the other ends of things?
Yeah. So for now, we're we're using authentication mechanisms, like we're using some standards like OAuth, for example, so that we just ask your browser for an OAuth token of your Twitter or your YouTube, right, to authenticate that this tip is real or not, right? Um, and in terms of uh, um, security, a lot will change when we get into the smart contract realm, right? I want to preempt that Sacred is in early stages. We're learning how the user flow of tipping on social media works and improving on that. The schemas and the flows and the tech underlying Sacred will be adjusted from time to time, right? So we're telling people that when it comes to using Sacred, the 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 extension that we have, the tipping extension, we're telling them that this product is not audited. Don't put lots and lots of money on this. Don't put private keys that hold your life savings. Do not do that. Do not put those life savings in Sacred. Just think of it as a tipper wallet, right? Put funds in there that you're willing to not see, right? Just in case things, um, some security hitch like happens. Um, when we're talking about the web app, right? We're not, or rather, when we're talking about receiving tips, right? We don't ask people to say, "Hey, connect your wallet to receive the tip," right? So we're making it as easy as possible. Just prove that you own the social account, and then you get right. Paste the address that you want, but don't connect your wallet. So that's the easiest, safest, or least risky way of redeeming your tip. And we're trying to find mechanisms around our app and our flows where you don't need to expose so much high value um, connections or assets. Uh, oops. Let's wait for that echo to go.
That's okay.
Yeah. And then you talked about privacy, right?
Yeah.
So the thing about Sacred is it's a social tipping mechanism. The intent is that you're making the tips public. The intent is that you're signaling with your tips that that you're moving funds around. You're signaling certain content is very valuable, right? So right now, privacy is something that we need to work on. I know a lot of folks. I know this is another thing that we could look into in the future because it unlocks a lot of things when it comes to smart contracts. And one thing I don't want to promise here, but one thing that we're looking at are ZK proofs. Right? So smart contracts don't have a mechanism to talk to Twitter or YouTube, for example, right? And nor are we going to be storing logins on the smart contract. We don't want that. So there's some technology out there called ZK proofs, where you can make a ZK proof with a social account. right? And there's some services that allow us to do it, just like OAuth exists, right? We could just use that service. And the idea is, in the future, when we have smart contracts, Izzy, if you got tipped, just give the smart contract your ZK proof of your Twitter. So from a blockchain perspective, we're keeping as much privacy as possible for folks like you when you're redeeming your tip. But yeah, I want to stop there. Like that's a really great question but I want to do it justice by having the CTO be present. But we can do that another time.
For sure. I think it's a conversation we're definitely going to have again,
Yeah.
especially when we're pushing this, because I love the fact you brought the concept of zero knowledge, which is the prover and the verifier, which is the whole technology on its own, which is really, really fascinating. Um, so I think time is fast spent, and I know you have other engagements. So I just asked like just a couple few questions so that you can, write onto your day is when it comes to like the partnership generally with Polkadot Africa and with our developers, what do you have in mind, like in terms of how are you planning on exploring all of this the partnership generally with us?
Yeah. So like when we approach partnerships, we essentially we will actually go to the potential partner and we say, hey, like here's a tool where you can actually engage with your community members and your contributors directly wherever you need them to make their work, right? So like when it comes to partnerships, we essentially be the tech support as they use the sacred tipping mechanism. We'd be like listening to our partners and trying to build features that are important to them. So I know I can share this little detail. Like a partner of ours wanted a Discord bot, right? For
Okay.
example, right, where the Discord bot announced tips to a community, to people in the community in the Discord. So yeah, when it comes to building and working with partners, we can actually like make that happen. We can also do things in such a way where Sacred is actually the one of the different engagement tools that communities could use. So if you're holding a bounty, for example, you can use Sacred to really course correct contributors as they make their contributions, and you can do it quickly. And what that means is, as people see posts that are being made, bounty gets improved because like folks are learning from each other and they're learning from community leaders what really good content is in real time. So that's the kind of stuff like where we approach partnerships. Yeah, correct. And yeah, we'll help them like build the tool out for them. We'll try our best to work on features to help them do the job that they need to do very well. But yeah, it's all around engagement and making that better for communities.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, so this is going to be like those very final questions I want to ask, or probably two,
Okay.
is what's the most surprising insight? This is about Sacred now. What's the most
Okay.
surprising insights you from earlier, early creators adoption you've seen so far?
Early insight.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, like there's a lot that we've like learned, like from coordination. Um, there, yeah, like it sounds really simple, but like if you just make it easy for folks, right? They really valuable. They really value it,
Yeah.
right? Simple things like receiving crypto, but if you do it and package it in a really fast way, is really powerful for them, right? We've learned other tipping mechanisms in like Farcaster, for example. They force people to lock their funds or hold it for a very long time, or they're stuck in that ecosystem, right? But
Yeah.
the simple idea that you can like bring it to other platforms and redeem it really quickly means that simplicity really is the winner.
Yeah.
Not like all these crazy DeFi stuff or these crazy boosters that you get on certain tipping projects.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
That makes simplicity. Yeah.
I'll be adding one more to that. From the experience so far with creators, I believe one of the beautiful insight I found out that they really love the idea of getting supported or rewarded, no matter as small as it is. So they prefer if I tip them $1 than I just like their post or retweet. They don't care if they have much likes, much comments, but just that support of Solana, USDC, DOT, any token, anything you could tip them or show them with support, even if it's a gift, even if it's not like tipping a gift, they prefer it more as a crypto. They appreciate it more than just the bullish and the comments we give them. So that is one thing I've observed with every creator out there. Even when we jump on spaces and we talk about sacred and we share the post and we give comment on their posts, you hear most of them just tip me, just I just want to see how it is, just tip me, let me just claim it. And
Yeah.
one thing again is that when they get to claim it and see that it's very easy without doing any stuff, you can just click on the link, you put your wallet, and they can tend to use any wallet they have at that moment. It's something that they really something they appreciate want to see on the screen. Because out there we see other mechanisms. We even see the mechanism that X have on itself that before you tip somebody, you have to go to their profile, find their tip or wallet tip. But here, you go to their profile, you just see their content and you send it right. So that's it.
Awesome. Well, that's seamless. I would say in my own way, it's very seamless because I believe that one of the biggest barrier we have with Web3 is it's overly complicated. It's hard for a basic person to understand. And I believe that simplicity is the next level we need to get to where everybody can interact without having to understand how intricate the technology itself is. Same way we can use our bank apps, especially in Africa, we can easily transfer money without having to, you know, check a chain. Am I sending it to the base chain, the dot chain? You get what I'm trying to say. It's overly complicated for a beginner to use. So that makes a lot of sense if we can, simplify it for everybody to use. So the next question I will ask is this, and this is just a kicker. I want to just put you on the spot. If Sacred Protocol could be integrated into any other blockchain ecosystem, right, tomorrow, which would it be and why?
Oh, really? I mean, tomorrow? I'm as you say,
Yeah.
I'm getting into a lot of calls with the developers to like get
Yeah.
product out there. I really want Sacred to be unlocked on Polkadot blockchain right now because I've been actually studying the Polkadot ecosystem and how it's different from EVM, right? And how it's
Yeah.
structured to be more scalable, right? We want it to be unlocked on Polkadot Hub, right? So that we can actually start tipping all the parachains, but also using some awesome a bridge technology, right? To actually talk to other chains, right? I've seen Shayun's pitch demo of Hyperbridge at Consensus, like in June, and I really loved how a message or an event between Binance and Bridge took place, right? Hyperbridge made that event happen, right? And then I'm like, wow, we can have tips done in such a way where if someone on Binance proves that they have the NFT to receive the tip, they some tokens on base chain could be moved, right?
Yeah.
Like with the bridging technology that we've seen, you could actually just use credentials on different chains to move assets on other places. I'm like, wow, that's really good. I'd love to see that us getting to that point and explore that design space.
Yeah, I think I'll put it now. We said Polkadot, obviously, so Yeah, we're looking forward to having Soccer
No, I mean, like we've been
Yeah.
working on it for a few months now. I mean, I just like, come on, I just want to show it off. Like, Joel wants to show off, right? So,
Yeah, you're trying your best not to give it all out though. But I mean, I really appreciate that. It's been beautiful having this chat with you and getting to know about this amazing product you're building. And I believe that we're definitely going to offer more calls, just to give the community a more beautiful feel as
yeah,
to how we keep pushing, Sacred Protocol in
yeah.
general. And I would say, from my perspective, is there any final notes you want Polkadot community members to look forward to when it comes to soccer film?
Yeah, I mean, we're here for you guys, right? We really love the energy that you guys like share and espouse within each other, right? And like if you invite us on other content, we'd be happy to join. If you were to invite us on live streams or X Spaces, for example, we'd be happy to tip folks on those channels as well as we discuss things and take questions from folks. Right, we can make it really engaging. So yeah, I would leave it at that. Like, we love what you guys are doing, and yeah, we'd love to get know you more. If I would summarize that, Joe, how would you add end that?
For real, attending the Polkadot Sub-Zero event was my very first exciting event in this location. So I really love want to engage more with the community, people building, people doing stuff, especially the creators. Um,
Because that's where like we're really good at. We thought when we worked and did some prior iterations, we worked on a Web3 forum. But the funny thing about the Web3 forum is nobody cared about putting nobody cared about putting the messages on the blockchain. People only cared about the decisions being on the blockchain so that the smart contracts could read them and execute. That's all people cared about. But what people were really into were the tipping. We made a feature inside a forum where if you tip someone on the forum, you can tip that same person on X, because they love that cross feature, cross social platform feature. So we just leaned in on that, and we got a lot of feedback from that from the community. We realized social tipping is a primitive, using a DeFi word, it's a social primitive. It's something that's missing in crypto, or rather in social media on the internet right now. People sharing real appreciation, real valuable appreciation on the internet, signaling value anywhere on social media. That's what we're trying to solve. And we've noticed that tipping itself has a lot of signaling power. If someone tips a post or a piece of art or a piece of music that someone made, it's a signal that it's valuable. If someone who's very famous actually makes a tip and on a piece of work or art or code, it signals that there's real value on on the object or the content that's being tipped. So yeah, we're leaning into that discovery, and we want to work with a lot of communities to unlock that. And very fortunate that there is a Polkadot community here in Toronto, and we're working very closely with them to unlock dot tipping with Sacred. So far, we've unlocked tipping with Solana and USDC, but we've gotten a lot of great feedback from the Polkadot community, and we're going to make our way and move into tipping DOT and USDC and other Polkadot Asset Hub tokens as well in the future. So more announcements on that coming later in the month.
So I'd just like to do a small introduction. I think Easy was having a bit of network issues before. So Easy is a community growth person, and then it's also like content manager for Polkadot Africa. Yeah. Easy, you want to say anything before we go on?
Okay, so first of all, I really want to apologize for my network situation, but I'm glad to be here and basically just listening to the story. I think I could get the first time when he was asking, the name and the story behind it generally, though. But it's really a pleasure to be here and to be having this conversation generally. So nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Izzy, and it's a real pleasure to be featured in your community and chatting with the OGs of the Polkadot community. I really appreciate it all, and really I love the work that you're doing and the leadership that you're doing and bringing Polkadot to the continent.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. And I think at this point, I'm just going to leave the question a bit for Sanchez. Then I think I'm going to take on from there so that we can have like a proper synergy and have this, going to the very end. But it's really a pleasure to be here again. Thank you.
Nice. Back to the conversation. Next question I was going to ask was, how does Sacred work? Like, what's like the what's behind the hood? All right. So we know you can do tipping, which I think is fantastic for content creators. I am a creator myself, and this is like the very first time we heard Joe speak about it on Dots and Vibes. Uh, it was really nice. I had like lots of questions. I just want to know like how does this work? For a start, how does it work?
Yeah, very. I guess the mechanism that underpins Sacred is very very familiar to us, right? Like everybody in crypto and especially DeFi understand this mechanism. It's essentially an escrow mechanism in the background, right? So whenever I tip someone on social media, and let's just say any social media, whenever I tip someone, I'm actually just saying I want to tip this piece of content made by Sanchez or Izzy on Twitter, right? And what happens is Sacred in the background puts the funds in escrow. We're planning on building a smart contract where the funds go on that smart contract, and the smart contract will only send the funds to the person who owns the social account. So right now, I can send funds to the escrow. When I'm tipping you, Sanchez, or Israel, I'm actually just tipping a smart contract, or rather an escrow wallet. And this escrow wallet only sends the funds when the recipient of the tip goes to the tip page and says, I am Sanchez or I am Izzy. They just need to prove that they own the social account. Now, the great thing about this process is it unlocks a lot of things. The one of the key things that it unlocks is it allows us to essentially work with any social media platform out there on the internet. We can actually work with Twitter, YouTube, Kick, and Twitch. But also in the future, I see a lot of builders being able to make their own social media platforms. So this is where the protocol part comes in, right? We want to build a tipping primitive or mechanism where any social media platform in the future can actually take advantage of this tipping mechanism. I forgot to add these really cool things because I'm actually tipping the escrow wallet or contract. I don't even need to ask anybody who I'm tipping what their wallet address is. I can just tip the account, the social account. And another great thing about doing it this way is, if I made a tip and I made a mistake, I can just tell I just tell Sacred I made a mistake, and I could cancel the tip and redo it in the future. We've also done it in such a way where the recipient of the tip can also decide if the person who tipped them didn't align with them. They can also refuse the tip as well. Another great thing that this unlocks is the recipient can also choose which address they can receive their funds in, so they don't need to be stuck on one wallet. And a nice thing about this is that we've built a mechanism around the escrow mechanism, where we can have a Sacred ID, where you can pair multiple social accounts to this Sacred ID. And then what that means is, if you're tipped in these multiple social platforms with Sacred, you could say, I want any of my tips coming in these different platforms to go into one place. So you can redirect a lot of tips incoming to you and your whatever wallets that you own. And yeah, the great thing is you own the Sacred ID. You essentially own the social handles, right? If you really just wanted to try out Sacred, you don't even need to have Sacred at all, right? You could just log in with your X account and make a tip through the web app that we made for our website.
Yeah, that's a lot of updates, and I'm totally enjoying it. I hope you can hear me, listen.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so I think I'm going to bring you back to the fundamentals, like to the very beginning. Just let's have a conversation about this, because I believe that every solution in the blockchain ecosystem generally is focused on something, right? So I would ask, like, from a business standpoint, how do you explain Sacred to a novice, someone just coming into the space and just trying to utilize every opportunity? How do you explain that to them? Just like the basic.
Okay, so I'll just add a minimum amount of complexity here. The way we see who we're talking to is that we're talking to both creators and then audiences at the same time, right? Because we need to really connect them with Sacred. At a high level, Sacred is a mechanism for creators to really engage with the audience. It's a tipping mechanism where they can send value to each other across social media, no matter where they are in. And the great thing about tipping is it's a coordination mechanism, right? You could signal what really good behavior is or what really good content is. So, and that goes both ways, right? So an audience member can tip a creator and signal that they want this work, right? A creator can tip a audience member to signal, hey, I love the feedback you gave me, right? And you could even apply this to Web3 communities as well, where community moderators or community leaders can use this as a way to reward good behavior within a certain community, and do it on Discord. You can do it on Twitter, right? So essentially, it's a coordination mechanism using the primitive of tipping. Is it how I would really highlight it for a Web3 crowd?
That really makes sense to me, though. That I think now we can be on par on the same level, because I like to break things like this down so that people in my community, especially the novices or the newbies who are coming in, can basically understand the direction we're tilting the contents to, or the information we're giving them to. So, which is very beautiful. And I think I listened to the beginning part when you started talking about it, the ideas and all of that. Um, and it's really lovely to see this kind of technology, especially when it comes to incentivizing, contributors generally in the space. So, what would you say like the successful sacred protocol is in the next 12 months in terms of like the plans you have in place for globalizing this technology?
Oh, I mean, like it's we got a lot of work to do on our side. So I know Joe and I and the rest of the Sacred team, we need to like really evangelize the what Sacred is to a lot of communities on the internet, especially those in the African continent. We're building capabilities to unlock dot tipping. We also want to unlock other Polkadot assets like USDC and other ones. I was accidentally gonna like name them, but like I don't want to like name them right away. We're gonna announce that very soon. We also want to go unlock tipping for other social platforms like Discord as well, because we noticed that Web3 communities have communities on Discord. So we need a mechanism for people to tip each other on that social platform as well. We're also planning on competing in a few hackathons so that we can actually like build on a few key features and also like promote ourselves at the same time. And yeah, like a key feature, a key thing that we'd love to do in the coming months is to just really work with communities, really work with creators, right, and find new ways of connecting with each other. We've with Sacred and tipping as it is right now, I think we just reached or hit the tip of the iceberg here, so to speak, right? There's a lot of ways where this mechanism could unlock a lot of other engagement that people would really find useful. And we want to work with people to discover that.
Yeah, I think I like the fact that you nearly gave it up like that particular information, but you held yourself back for like a minute. That was good. That was good. That was good. I nearly got you though. But it's beautiful to see, you talk about the technology itself and how fascinating it is, right? So when we talk about this, I think it's always also better to talk about like the business model of this, right?
Okay.
So yeah, when it comes to like the monetization, what's the long-term business, model for that?
Yeah.
To the community, to the creators, then the transaction on each platform is like the fees for the creators and the tippers generally. How does that mechanism itself work?
So yeah, like there's a lot to say about that. So within the tipping ecosystem, right? If you look at other platforms, if we talk about, let's say, YouTube or Twitch or TikTok, right? These platforms charge between 30 to 70% of on fees for withdrawals. So if, let's say, you were to be tipped $1, you would only keep 30%. If you're on TikTok, you'd only keep $3. Oh, sorry, 30 cents on TikTok, right? If you were tipped $1 on YouTube, you'd keep only 70 cents of that, right? And the one of the things that we've noticed about tipping with conventional platforms, Web2 platforms, is they're not global, right? So that means if you were a creator in, let's say, North America, for example, only 30 or 30 to 50% of your audience can actually tip you, depending on which social platform that you're on, right? So you see Mr. Beast, for example, he has like millions and millions of followers, but only a small percentage of that can actually be monetized, can only tip him. Most of the people are just watching, and he can't engage with them deeply any other way. So unless he's going on multiple platforms. So what we're trying to, what we're trying to solve is that as a business, we want to connect other people to each other in different social media sites. We notice that Web3 communities are everywhere in more than one place. They're fragmented, so to speak. The idea is not to build one app to make them all go to that one place, to one app. We don't want them to do that. We want them to just have a bridge, a mechanism where they can actually like interact with each other. As a business, we're looking at the landscape and trying to charge a little bit less than our competition. So we're pricing things at 10% on withdrawals, but we're just hitting the tip of the iceberg here because we haven't touched DeFi at all, right? And with DeFi, we could really unlock new things, whereby you could, let's say, if you stake your tip, for example, right? You can redeem it for free at the end of X amount of time, right? Or you could keep it inside Sacred, and then you earn yield there instead of just like holding it in the bank, right? And then we just you can do many different like business models around that. But for now, as a business, we want to prove that Sacred can actually work as a Web2 business without the DeFi, without even having a token, right? And yeah, I forgot to mention, even having a token, it unlocks another wave of opportunity. But for now, we want to prove that as a standalone business, can this work with a 10% fee? Works our way out there.
Awesome. That's really beautiful. You said something that actually piques my interest. Now, when you were talking about like the geography in terms of like the population of watchers, like you use Mr. Beast for example, and you said only a small proportion of his followers can actually get to tip, contribute and do all of that. Now, one thing I've also observed when it comes to like the Web2 settings, like the YouTube, the TikTok, is every continent has a sort of barrier when it comes to payments, and there is like a percentage for each continent, right? So let's say you're a Twitch you're a Twitch streamer from United States. There's a $3 fee you pay. Then a Twitch streamer from Nigeria gets a $1 fee. So there is a price, gap there. Is that something you would be looking forward to, ensuring that okay, there's balance, or is this still something you would love to, continue when it comes to Sacred generally?
Actually, like we know about the Twitch pricing structure, but from a North American experience, like you highlighting that it's different. There's a different experience for streamers in Africa is actually very big news to me, right? So I'd love to like learn more about that. On our side, we're simply simply just thinking of a 10% fee, right? Just based on the assumptions of our costs, we think we can make that happen, right? Or rather, we can be viable with that 10% fee. That's where our minds are at right now. We know that Twitch has some mechanisms to keep funds in the system, right? So some platforms you have to have $100 before withdrawing, right? Anything, right? Which would be a long shot if you're just starting out, right? And it would be very hard to achieve if you were in another continent where you don't earn in dollars, right? So right now, the mechanism with Sacred is if you got tipped even $1 or even 50 cents, you could redeem that, right? There's no waiting period for that. But I don't want to like distort things too much or promising too much, because like when DeFi appears, we can actually have a upside, right, for people waiting. But we just need to get to that next step, and then we can like talk about it more then.
It's amazing, amazing. I think I'll be looking forward to having more of this conversation with you because it's something that really piques our interest, especially when it comes to incentivizing. But the next question I actually want to ask is the market focus. Is your focus going to be on streamers like Twitch, Kick, or content creators basically on YouTube X? Is it that you're going to utilize all the platforms, or you're going to specifically pick different platforms that you want to prioritize for now?
Yeah, like where we've built our integrations, so to speak, have been on platforms where a lot of folks who are into Web3 are already on, right? So, what I guess what I'm trying to say is like a lot of Web3 communities are